Hello, we're glad to have you back here, Cooking with Phil, and we're going to do something a little different today. Today we're going to have a fusion dish that I've concocted over the time. We're going to call it Thai chicken, and we're going to put a secret ingredient at the end. If you stick to the end, you'll see what really makes it different. Now, I used to manage a big furniture store, and I would go out to lunch every day. There were two places to go eat. One was a Szechuan restaurant, the other one was Taco Bell. Sometimes I'd stop by for Taco Bell for breakfast, but I liked the Szechuan food. I got to learn a lot about it, and as you know, Szechuan is part of China. And they have a lot of spices, and the thing that makes it so distinctive is it's hot. And we're going to have some of our good Szechuan hot peppers in here, seeds after a bit. The other thing is I like Thai food, and Thai is a little bit different. It's not going to be stir-fried. We're going to do it a little different than they do because we don't move the spoon so quick this time, and we're going to let it kind of cook instead of going through it real fast so that our vegetables aren't doing. And then we're going to use part of it, Americanized from Sarasota. So you got a little bit of Szechuan, a little bit of Thai, a little bit of Sarasota food here. So the first thing I'm going to do, we got a little bit of red pepper. I got some good ginger this time. Okay, now the first step is we're going to start cutting some garlic apart here. I think we'll use about 3 cloves. So maybe we'll use 4. That was kind of a puny clove there. First thing I do is I whack this end off, and that takes a little bit of the skin. Now we flatten it out. There's my cleaver. That's one of the handiest tools. In fact, before I got the chef's knife, I've used a cleaver to do that. A lot of people don't like to do it because it's kind of an unwieldy thing, but it does the job. Now let's get one more so that we have plenty of garlic this time. And we're going to mince it up. That's a tough one there. Now we'll peel the skin off of this so that we got nothing but garlic there. That's one of the things I do with a knife too. It kind of scrapes that off, so we got relatively small chunks. And the other thing that I like to do, I find out I still got some shells in here. That's it. Okay, so we got garlic now. And now we're going to get to the ginger. And this is what we clean the ginger off with sometimes. That way you don't chop a finger as easily. And this will get that off, so it's about, what, 1.5 inch piece that we'll put on here. I don't measure too much. Amy's going to get in here pretty quick. Amy's the measurer. Going to do the cooking today, I think. That's how this whole thing started. Amy wanted to learn to cook, so we decided we might as well show some other people how to do some of the things that we do here. Now what we're actually doing is we're getting ready to fix the chicken, because the chicken is going to marinate a little bit. We usually don't marinate for much more than 30 minutes in the refrigerator, but we want to do a little bit of that so that we get a little flavor of all this stuff through there. Now, this is an onion, obviously. We're going to do it a little differently than we do some onions. This is one of the things that we find out that our people do. We're going to cut it in half first, and then we're going to take the skin off. This is a little different way. We're not going to dice the onion or chop it. We're going to cut it this way. And if you notice, for some reason, this is the way a lot of the Asian people seem to do it. We're going to give you better pieces of onion to taste. So this will be, now there's our onion. Now the next thing, we got some nice guests, so you're going to notice that we got the best chicken breast. So I'm just going to cut these into bite-sized pieces, and we're going to get ready to marinate them. Okay, we got the chicken all cut up. Now the next step, this is tenderizer. This is cornstarch, as you can see. I've learned is that this is excellent when we go tenderizing anything, So I'm going to spoon a little bit out. I like to kind of put it in my sifter here and get it, whoops. Sometimes it gets kind of flaky here, but that's all right. And the next step is we're going to put some garlic in here and get some of the garlic taste. That's pretty good. Next thing we do, we put a little bit of salt. There's our soy sauce. Okay, now we're ready to put in the sauce. Notice I'm ambidextrous here. I can cook with both hands. So I'm going to put a little bit of this in here. Let's get another one in. We got salt in. There we go. That gives it a little bit of the Thai flavor. Now, this is what I cut up earlier. If you notice, that's the garlic. So I'm going to put garlic in here. Crack an egg. There goes the egg. Okay, it's all ready. That's step one. Now we're going to set this aside a little bit, and Amy's going to make the sauce for you. Now, we got.
Papa, not yet.
Okay. Okay, we have our chicken in the refrigerator, all cut up. It's marinating. Now, Miss Amy is going to make the sauce that's really kind of going to make a difference in here. So the first thing is we need 1 cup of coconut milk. This is fish sauce, and that's something that makes it distinctive. A lot of the Asian people use fish sauce even with chicken. All we're going to need is 1 teaspoon of fish sauce. We're going to put 3 tablespoons of good old brown sugar. The next step is, this is the curry sauce. We want a good heaping teaspoon of that in there, please.
All right.
Now, this is what makes it distinctively different and kind of Szechuan. There is the red pepper flake. So we're bold enough now, we're going to put a whole teaspoon in there. Now, Amy is getting ready to put in
the can of mandarin oranges. Two teaspoons of garlic powder. Now we're going to whisk it so we can make it a nice texture.
Okay, now I'm going to cut up pepper. What are you doing over there? Are you playing with me? Yeah? Is that what you're doing? I got a feeling you guys are up to mischief, okay? Let's see. Now, one of our ingredients is carrots. These are little baby carrots that I've cut up. Because of the nature of the carrot, they're pretty solid. A lot of people like them softened a little bit. So what I do is I steam them first. They'll be steaming while Amy's cooking, and then we'll pop them in our meal, and they'll be a little softer, kind of like maybe al dente. How's that? So we've already got the tea kettle on. As soon as that steams, we're going to make some coffee, and we're going to enjoy some, and maybe you'll have some at home while you're watching. Now, the next step that we're going to make is, this is our wok, and this is a pretty good wok. In fact, if you look down below, I've got a link in there. Some real smart people are talking about woks. I've had this wok for a long time. I use it as a skillet. I use it sometimes as a cooking dish. What we're doing today is not like you see a lot of the wok users do, because they're always shuffling around real fast and doing that. We're doing it a little different because this is a little slow cooking. We're going to cook some chicken, but you're going to learn about woks if you watch to the end. And in a second, Amy's going to go over here and go to work because she's doing the cooking. So you're going to see that part, and we're actually going to go to work and put it in here with the sauce and everything else. So Amy, are you ready to step in?
Yes. Add some more coconut oil. All right.
There we go.
It's moist.
Perfect.
Good basmati rice. Now, one of these days, we're going to show you how we do what we call Persian rice. Persian rice is a little different. It's steamed rice. I spent some time in Dayton, Ohio, and Dayton, as you know, is where Wright-Patterson Air Force Base is. And as a result, it's a broad cultural place, and there's a lot of people from all over the world that come to Wright-Pat. I used to go in there and eat. That's where I learned how to have one of the things that's going to set this dish off in a minute. But I had a friend there, Saeed, if you're still alive, I want to thank you. He showed me how to do Persian rice. And
Hi, Saeed. Hi, Saeed.
Saeed was actually from, at one time was Persia and Iran before we had a lot of problems with Iran. But he showed me how to do it, and it's different than anything you'll find. Now we're going to have basmati. We like basmati. Sometimes we use brown rice. We're all interested in health, and some of us believe that brown rice many times is better than white rice. But this is good tasting rice, and it really is going to set this dish off. So Amy, I guess you're about ready. Let's start putting some chicken in the wok.
How long did we let this sit for?
Well, it's sat probably for 20 or 30 minutes. We usually don't like to leave chicken marinating or much more than that, because it just seems not to have the effect. But there we go. You notice the juices are in there. I see some people that don't put the juice in it, but to me, that's fine. Now she's really going to brown that kind of on one side, and then she's going to start moving it around. And as I said, if you notice that when a lot of people use the wok, well, they do it real fast. What we're doing is actually we're frying chicken, and it's going to taste great because remember, we tenderize that with the cornstarch. Now, as we go in, we're going to add some sauce later, and we may have to put a little bit more cornstarch in there to do it. So pretty quick, as it starts getting brown there, we're going to put some of the other vegetables in and let them work. And we want to remember, we got carrots over there that are steaming. And when we put those carrots in there, they're going to be nice and kind of al dente. They won't be too much of a bite to them. You got your heat up there pretty good. I think it's time. Now, if you notice, we didn't dice up our onions. Our onions are cut like this. I like this. There's a little bit more bite there. That seems to be kind of the Asian way of doing things. So Amy, I think we're ready. Why don't you go ahead and drop those in there too. Now she's just going to get those onions kind of transparent, and as she does that, you'll notice that the chicken is starting to brown pretty well. And it's going to have some flavor in it.
Like and subscribe.
We've got some red and orange together here. Orange bowl, red peppers, that's what we like. Now you can put any kind of pepper, but I suggest you don't put green pepper in it. Green pepper, as you know, has a little bit of a sharper taste than these. These kind of sweeten it up a little bit. So Amy, why don't you go ahead and let's put those in there, please. Okay, now we use pretty much fresh food. In fact, sometimes I go to farmer's market. This is pandemic time. We don't get where we used to, but Amy doesn't like snow peas. Now, quite often I would put snow peas in there if I made it for myself. But since Amy doesn't like snow peas, we've got about a cup of these regular old peas and carrots. And to me, that's one of my favorite vegetables. Combinations that I put with a lot of things like pasta and so forth and so on. So Amy, it's time to put some of those in. I've taken the carrots out of the steamer here. These are carrots. They're not really soft, but they're not as hard as normally a raw carrot would be, or as some people do. If I was going to stir fry, I would have cut them smaller, but we like this size for this meal. It's a little smaller than the chicken bite. Now Amy, let's dump those in there. Now the next thing is, let's grab our sauce over there. You can see the sauce in the container. And Amy's going to put the sauce in. And this is really what's going to make it distinctive, partly. And then I'm going to do the magic here. Okay, now I told you right at the end we're going to put in something special, and I mentioned the time I was in Dayton, Ohio, and I used to go to a little Vietnamese restaurant. It was right down the hill from where I lived, and used to get these bowls of soup. They had different kinds. We had clam chowder or clam soup. We had chicken. We had shrimp. But it was in this real good tasting stuff. And what they did, they brought us a whole handful of these. Now this is Thai Basil. I grow it out in my box. I've got an herb box out there. And it is very distinctive in taste, much different than sweet basil. It has a little bit of an anise taste, and yet it's something that's very undescribable. So we're going to use it two ways. I have some cut off here, as you see. Amy's going to put that in our food here and let it start flavoring it.
Don't cook the bowl. Don't do this at home.
Okay, now we're starting to infuse the Thai basil in with our meal, and as you see, it's kind of soupy right now. So hopefully it'll be cooking down, because you remember it has the cornstarch in. If it doesn't get to the right consistency, then we're going to put a little bit more cornstarch in. Now a lot of people that I watch on YouTube, they French fry their product. We like to do it this way because we think that the food really blends better, gives it a nice texture. I'm not too big into French frying. It smells the house up a little bit. If I want something fresh fried, I'd go to McDonald's, but I'd go there about twice a year maybe. The reason we call this Mandarin chicken is because we have some Mandarin oranges. So Amy is going to dump those in there at this point. And we're not going to cook them to death. We'll put them in there at the very last, you'll notice. And remember, we've got Mandarin juice in the sauce that we made. So this is going to give it that Mandarin flavor. One of these days we'll show you how we do lemon chicken. Mother's Day, the girls went over to their mothers, and yet the night before we had a little party and I fixed some lemon chicken. And the other thing that I fixed with it was carrots and red peppers and honey sauce to kind of set it off. And we're going to show you that dish one of these days if you keep sticking around. We're sure glad you're here. Glad you came back. I know a lot of people have subscribed. We know some of you we don't. But we're very grateful that you keep coming back, and we're going to have some interesting things. So we'll put some guests on here sooner or later. Our photographer, Karina, behind the camera, is going to do some things before too long. So she's a pretty good cook too. So here we go. Now we're boiling this down, and what we want it to do is start getting a little bit more solid. The things that I learned the hard way is if you put cornstarch directly into that hot stuff, what's going to happen? It's going to get lumpy. So we've learned how to make a slurry. And I'm just going to take some of this off of here. I'll put about 3 good teaspoons in it. And then the next thing is I'll put a tablespoon of water in it. I imagine a lot of you already know this, but I had to learn from somebody, and I learned the hard way. I used to have lumps all the time, so I'm just going to get it all mixed up here so that you can see that what we're going to have. And that may be enough to start making that just perfect. So Amy, if you're ready, I'd just start adding that a drop or two at a time and keep stirring, and that's going to thicken up well.
It is getting thicker though.
It should get thicker. If it doesn't thicken fast enough, we can always put some more in, but if you put too much, then it gets not quite right. I got my dinner shirt on. I had my Buccaneer shirt on. I'm a Buck fan. And even though we're not playing football now, we still have a lot of stuff going on. So I honored the Bucks today. I had my Buck shirt on, but this is my Florida dinner shirt. So we're going to have that because we have ladies present, you see.
How do you know when it's done?
We can usually tell by the texture here. We know the chicken was done. So as we add the vegetables in, they just kind of mix and flavor. Then the real key is to get it nice so that when we put it on the rice, it's almost like gravy. So we're going to have some good old basmati rice. And we're going to put this on, and it kind of mingles with the rice, and it really gives it a great taste. So that it's almost like gravy here over rice. I like it that way, and I think you folks will too, as you want to try.